Introduction. The final veil beyond light and darkness. Turn off the light. Close the door. Make sure no one interrupts you. What you are about to hear is not an audiobook. It is a digital key, and once you insert it into the lock of your mind, you will not be able to pull it out. For years, you have navigated the surface of the spiritual ocean. You have read about the law of attraction. You have pasted photos on a vision board. You have repeated positive affirmations in front of the mirror, hoping the universe would smile back. You have learned to ask, to wait, and to trust. That was the nursery. That was the user level. If you are here, listening to this frequency, it is because those toys no longer satisfy you today. You are here because you feel a splinter in your mind. You feel the glitch. You feel that despite your visualizations and your positive thinking, you are still trapped in an invisible hamster wheel. You feel that reality has padded walls. You sense that suffering, time, and death are not natural, but are parts of a program. You sense it's a code written by someone else. And you are right. In the next few hours, we are not going to talk about how to decorate your cell to make it more comfortable. We are not going to talk about how to attract a new car or an ideal partner within the matrix. That is distraction, that is spiritual anesthesia. It's a fake dream. Here we are going to talk about how to dismantle the prison. What you are going to receive is the forbidden metaphysics protocol. It is the knowledge that was erased from the Bible, burned in the Library of Alexandria, and persecuted by the Inquisition. It is not about faith, it is about consciousness physics. It is ontological hacking. We are going to delve into the naked machinery of the universe. We will talk about retrocausality, the scientific ability to mentally travel to the past and rewrite your traumas, altering your physical present. We will talk about egregores, the psychic artificial intelligences that feed on your fear and worship. You are a battery. We will talk about the Reincarnation Trap and why coming back to Earth again and again is not a school, but an energy recycling system that you must learn to hack. We will talk about chaos magic and sigils, techniques to bypass the censor of your conscious mind and inject commands directly into the operating system of reality. It's time. I must be brutally honest with you. This knowledge is radioactive to the ego. Your old self will fight these ideas. You will feel fear. You will feel rejection. Your religious or social programming will jump like an antivirus trying to block an unknown file. It is normal. It is the matrix defense system trying to keep you asleep. If you're looking for comfort, if you want to be told that everything is love and light and that the universe is your protective father, turn off this audio now. Go back to the self-help books. There is no judgment in that. But if you are ready to assume absolute sovereignty, if you are ready to remember that you are the creator, if you are ready to look into the abyss and have the abyss recognize you as an equal, then cross the threshold. You are moving beyond the veil. This is the moment of your total awakening. No more lies, no more toys, only the raw truth of your own power. Welcome to the forbidden frequency. Let the dismantling of your old reality begin. Chapter 1. Retrocausality. How to literally change the past, not metaphorically. We have been educated under the tyranny of Chronos. From the moment you were born, you were instilled with a belief that is the basis of all your helplessness. The belief in the arrow of time. You were told that time is linear, that it flows inexorably from the past toward the future, like a river that cannot be climbed back up. It's a cage. You were taught that the past is solid, immutable, written in stone. You were taught that the present is ephemeral. And you were taught that the future is a logical and inevitable consequence of that immovable past. This linear structure is the most perfect cage ever designed. If you believe the past is immutable, then you believe you are a victim. You are a victim of your childhood traumas, a victim of your bad financial decisions from 10 years ago, a victim of your parents' genetics, a victim of that mistake you made that fills you with guilt. The system tells you, what's done is done. And with that phrase, they condemn you to drag a corpse throughout your entire existence. But today, in this first level of the Omega Code, we are going to destroy that lie. We are going to use cutting-edge physics and operative metaphysics to prove to you that the past is not behind you. The past is here. It is a frequency. It is an open file in your mental computer. And like any digital file, it can be edited and rewritten. Welcome to the concept of retrocausality. We are not talking about psychological metaphors. We are not talking about changing your perspective on what happened to feel better. That is conventional therapy. We are talking about altering the structure of reality itself. We are talking about changing the cause from the present effect today. Scientific evidence. The universe is not linear. For your logical mind to accept this, we must first kill the Newtonian skeptic living in your brain. Isaac Newton convinced us that the universe was a mechanical clock. Cause A leads to effect B. But over 100 years ago, quantum physics demolished that clock. It is no longer true. There is a famous experiment, the delayed choice quantum eraser, proposed by John Wheeler. Without getting into boring technicalities, the experiment proved something terrifying. A particle of light can decide how to behave based on a measurement that will be made in the future. The future rewrote the past of the particle itself. If the fundamental matter of which you are made can change its history based on a present observation, what makes you think that you, the supreme observer, cannot do the same with your life? Time is not a line. Time is a hologram. Imagine a DVD. On the disc, the beginning, the middle, and the end are recorded simultaneously. They exist. The laser, your consciousness, is the only thing that moves, reading one scene at a time. This is what physicists call the block universe. The past did not go away. It still exists on the disc. And if you have control of the laser, you can record over the old data again. You can rewrite your story from any point you choose to focus on. Memory, your reality editor. This is where operative metaphysics comes in. What is the past for you right now? It is not a physical fact. You cannot touch your childhood. You cannot touch your divorce. The past, right now, is only one thing: an electrical image in your brain. It is a memory record. And neuroscience has found a secret. Neuroscience has discovered something fascinating. Memory is not a faithful recording. Every time you remember something, you are not playing an original file. You are reconstructing the memory from scratch. You are taking the data out, modifying it with your current mood, and saving it again. Every time you remember, you edit the past. The problem is that most people edit against themselves. You remember the moment you were humiliated, and as you remember it, you add more pain, more shame, and more negative details. You are reinforcing the code of trauma. You are making the wound deeper. You are using your divine power of retrocausality to perpetuate your own hell. The initiate in the Omega Code does the opposite. He uses memory as a video editor. If a scene from your life movie does not please you, you do not play it over and over crying. You cut the scene. You film a new take, and you paste it over the old one. You rewrite the data until the new version becomes your current and only solid reality. The wave collapse of trauma. Let's understand the mechanism. Every event in your life is a wave of energy. If you had a car accident 5 years ago, that event generated a shock wave. That wave continues traveling through time and manifests today as back pain, fear of driving, or financial bills. Cause accident leads to effect pain today. If you apply retrocausality and neutralize the cause in your mind, you take away the energy from the wave. If the cause disappears vibrationally, the effect has nothing to sustain it. I have seen cases, what they call miracles, of people who rewrote a trauma of abuse in their childhood, and their chronic illnesses suddenly vanished. I have seen people rewrite a bad job interview and receive a call days later saying that there was an administrative error and that the position is theirs. It is not magic. It is quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. By changing the frequency of the transmitter, past, you change the music playing in the receiver, present. The revision protocol, the technique. Enough theory. Let's get to practice. This is the protocol you must follow to execute a timeline shift. Do not do this while driving or doing something else. It requires total immersion. Phase 1. The zero state. You must lower your brainwaves to alpha or theta, the state of half sleep or deep rest. Reality is rigid in the beta state, alert. It is plastic and moldable in the theta state. Relax deeply. Disconnect the senses. Enter the void. Phase 2. Localization of the node. Identify the specific event you want to change. Do not try to change my whole life. Be surgical. Choose one moment, that argument, that accident. Bring it to mind. Phase 3. Dissociation, the observer. First, look at the original scene as if you were watching a black and white movie from afar. Observe it without emotion. Say, that is data, corrupt data. Take away the emotional charge. Neutralize it. Phase 4. The rewriting, the code injection. Now comes the magic. Replay it. Enter the scene now. But this time you are going to live it as you would have wished it to happen. If it was an argument, imagine that instead of screaming, you smiled. Imagine the other person asked for forgiveness. Hear their words clearly. Feel their hug. If it was a loss of money, imagine the investment was a success. Feel the money in your account. If it was a medical diagnosis, imagine the doctor saying, "It's incredible, everything is clean, you are perfectly healthy." The Omega key. Do not see it as a spectator. You have to feel it. You have to smell the perfume, feel the temperature, touch the person's hand. And most importantly, you must feel the emotion of the desired end. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the gratitude. Your nervous system does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. By generating that intense emotional chemistry, you are printing a new fact in the quantum field. You are creating a new memory. Repeat this new scene in a loop, over and over, 5, 10, 20 times, until the new scene feels more real and has more sensory tones than the old memory. You are overwriting the hard drive. You are displacing corrupt data with new data. Phase 5. The sealing. When you feel the new scene is solid, when you feel an internal click or a deep sigh of relief, freeze the final image. Say, "It is done, so it was." Open your eyes, get up and shake your body. Break the state. What happens next? The domino effect. Once you have done the revision, you have altered your timeline. You have moved from line A, where the tragedy occurred, to line B, where success or peace occurred. Now observe your reality. Sometimes the change is drastic and immediate. Sometimes it is subtle. The first thing you will notice is that the negative charge has disappeared. You will remember the event, and it will no longer hurt. You will feel indifference or even peace. That means the energetic cause has been eliminated. Then you will see changes in the physical world. People will call you differently now. People you were fighting with will call you as if nothing had happened. Their subconscious received the update of your script. Opportunities that had been closed will open again. Physical symptoms improve. Does this mean the people around you will have false memories? It is possible. There is a phenomenon known as the Mandela effect. You will remember the new version. Perhaps they remember the old one vaguely, but it will no longer have emotional power over them. Or perhaps, in your new timeline, they remember the same as you. Do not worry about the how. The universe is infinitely complex and knows how to rearrange the lines of time to accommodate your new reality. Morality and guilt, the guardians of the prison. Now your ego will attack you with a powerful weapon. Guilt. It will tell you, you are deceiving yourself. That didn't happen. You're crazy. You can't deny reality. You have to pay for your mistakes. Guilt is the glue that keeps you tied to the old timeline. It is a heavy weight on your soul. Society, religion, and your education have programmed you to believe that suffering is noble and that the denial of objective reality is madness. But I ask you, what is objective reality? If the past no longer exists physically and only lives in your mind, why choose to keep the version that hurts you? To what end do you suffer now? Who do you serve by suffering? Do you help anyone by being miserable because of a mistake from 10 years ago? No. Suffering is wasted energy that feeds the parasitic egregores. Retrocausality is an act of radical mercy toward yourself. God, the fertile void, lives in an eternal now. For God, there is no unforgivable sin. It is gone. The Bible says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." And also, "Forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before." And Neville Goddard said, "Changing your past is a divine skill. The man who cannot revise his past is an automaton, condemned to repeat the same errors. Break the cycle. Stop being a hamster on the wheel of karma. Karma is only cause and effect. If you change the cause, past, you cancel the karma. It's that simple. It is that blasphemous for the dogmatic, and it is that liberating for the awakened. You have the power to edit your soul's history. Do not let the past dictate your future glory anymore. Safety warnings. Although this technique is powerful, it must be used with balance. 1. Do not become an escapist. Use revision to correct errors and heal traumas, not to live in a disconnected fantasy while your current life falls apart. Revision is done to empower your present, not to flee from it. Use it wisely and with deep purpose. 2. Do not obsess over details. You do not need to revise every second of your life. Go to the key events, to the trauma nodes. By healing the root, the branches heal themselves. 3. Persistence. Some events are dense. They have a lot of emotional charge. You may need to do the revision several nights in a row until you feel the peace. The power of daily revision. The Pythagoreans had a secret practice. Before sleeping, they reviewed their day, not to judge themselves, but to correct it. I suggest you adopt this habit starting today. Every night, before sleeping, review your day. If you had a bad encounter, a bad news, or a moment of weakness, rewrite it now. Never go to sleep with the feeling of defeat. Review the day as you would have liked it to be. Fall asleep in the feeling of success and harmony. By doing this, you neutralize the negative seeds of the day before they can take root in your subconscious during the night. You wake up the next day without yesterday's emotional hangover. You wake up clean. You wake up in a new timeline. If you do this every day, your life will become an upward spiral of success because you will be pruning the weeds daily and watering only the flowers. This is the first step of the Omega Code. Master your past, and you will become the absolute master of your current physical reality. Chapter 2. The Reincarnation Trap. You have been told a romantic story. You have been told that Earth is a school. You have been told that you are a young and inexperienced student who comes here to learn lessons about love, forgiveness, and duality. You have been told that if you suffer, it is because you are burning karma from past lives. It sounds comforting. They have told you that your soul chose that suffering to grow. And they have told you that when you die, you will see a beautiful white light, meet your loved ones, review your life, and full of love and wisdom, decide to return to Earth in a new body to continue learning. It sounds fair, but I have a logical and brutal question for you. What kind of school erases the student's memory before every exam? Imagine a university where you study mathematics for 80 years. At the end, you learn the formulas. You pass or fail. But before moving to the next course, the director gives you a pill that erases your memory completely. You forget the math, you forget who you are today, you forget your mistakes, and they send you back to the first course like an ignorant baby to start from scratch. No memories, no accumulated wisdom, no tools. You make the same mistakes again. You suffer again for the same causes, and upon dying, they erase your mind again. That is not a school. In a school, knowledge is accumulated, a system where the subject runs in eternal circles, suffering and forgetting, is not an educational institution. It is a farm. Or even worse, it is a maximum security prison. Welcome to the theory of the planetary prison. Welcome to the reality that you are not the student, you are the livestock. You are part of a harvesting system. The fuel of the system, the louche. To understand why reincarnation exists, you must first understand the economy of the universe. In this universe, the currency is not gold or Bitcoin. The currency is energy. Every system needs energy to sustain itself. You eat plants and animals for chemical energy. Plants eat sunlight, it is a chain. What do the beings above you in the dimensional food chain eat? Robert Monroe, the famous astral travel researcher, discovered something terrifying in his out-of-body explorations. He found that certain interdimensional entities cultivate humanity to harvest a very specific energy. Monroe called it louche. It is emotional energy. What is louche? It is the electromagnetic energy generated by intense emotions, but not just any emotion. The most tasty and potent louche for these entities is generated by fear, pain, anger, anxiety, unsatisfied sexual desire, and blind worship. Think about it coldly. Look at the history of humanity. Constant wars, genocides, plagues. If Earth were a school designed by a god of love for us to learn, it is the most incompetent design in history. The suffering is disproportionate. There is no balance. But if Earth were an energy farm designed to maximize the production of louche, suffering and drama, then it is a perfect design. It works like a clock. It is efficient. Every time there is a war, a feast occurs on the astral plane. Every time you die of anxiety over a debt, you are feeding your jailer. Every time you go to a stadium and shout with rage or ecstasy, you are being milked. Even fanatical religious worship, the total surrender of your power to an external being, is a form of food for them. The ancient Gnostics knew this 2,000 years ago. They called these farmers the archons, the rulers. They said that the God of the Old Testament, that jealous, wrathful God who demanded blood sacrifices and wars, was not the true God, but a demiurge, a false god, an architect of the material matrix who trapped us in flesh to feed on us. The mechanism of the trap, the karmic cycle. So how do they keep us here? Why don't we just leave? Because we are infinite beings. We are fractals of the original source. Our power is immense. If we realized who we are, we would break the cage in a second. That is why the system needs our consent. They cannot force a sovereign being. According to universal law, they cannot enslave you against your free will. They have to trick you into choosing to return to the cage. Here enters the master scam. Karma. Karma is sold to us as a system of cosmic justice. If you do wrong, you receive wrong. But in matrix practice, karma is a system of perpetual debt. It is a lie. It is like a bank loan with abusive interest that you can never finish paying off. If in this life you were a soldier and killed someone, the system tells you at death, "Oh, you have created negative karma. You must return in the next life to be killed and balance the scale." You accept, you return, you are killed, but now there is more debt. Now the one who killed you has created karma with you, so you both have to return to forgive each other. But in that new life, you fight again and generate more karma. It is a sticky web. They never tell you, "Hey, you are a divine being. You can forgive yourself and return to the source." No, they tell you, "You have a debt. Go back." And while you work live, you generate louche. Karma is not justice, it is the labor contract of the farm. The death protocol. What happens when you die? Let's enter the most delicate ground. What exactly happens at the moment of physical death? Based on thousands of NDEs and ancient wisdom, we can map the trap. It is a process. Phase 1. Disconnection and relief. You leave your body. The pain disappears. You feel light. You see your body below. Often you feel an immense peace, the natural programming of the soul when released from density. Phase 2. The tunnel of light. Suddenly, you see a tunnel or vortex. At the end, there is a bright magnetic white light. It emanates a feeling of love, or rather, an electromagnetic drug of seduction. You feel an irresistible urge to go toward it. It is like a moth going to a lamp. Phase 3. The welcome committee. The hologram. Upon entering the light, you meet beings. For a Christian, Jesus will appear. For an atheist, a deceased grandmother. The system scans your memory bank in nanoseconds and projects the holographic image that generates the most trust. The goal is to lower your defenses. They hug you. They tell you, "Welcome home, brave warrior. You have done very well. Rest." Phase 4. Life review, the judgment. Here the emotional manipulation begins. It is a trap. They take you to a place where you see a movie of your life, but it's not a normal movie. You feel what you felt and what others felt because of your actions. If you insulted someone, you feel their pain multiplied. The beings of light are by your side. They judge you with paternal disappointment. They make you feel very small. They say, "Look how much pain you caused. Your soul has not evolved enough. You still have debts." This is pure emotional manipulation, cosmic gaslighting. They make you feel guilty and incomplete. They convince you that you are not ready to graduate. They tell you, "To clean this, you need to go back. We have a new mission for you." Phase 5. The contract and the erasing. You, full of guilt and desire for redemption, accept. You say, "Yes, I want to go back and fix it." In that moment, you have given your consent. They take you to the rebirth room. They show you your next life, often only the beautiful trailers. And before going down, they tell you, you must forget. For the test to be valid, you must forget. If you remember the answers, it has no merit. They make you pass through the river of forgetfulness, Lethe, or subject you to a massive energy discharge that fragments your memory. And zap, you are crying in a delivery room, naked, confused, and amnesiac. The cycle begins again. The battery is new. Is there proof of this? Skeptics will say this is science fiction. But look at the circumstantial evidence. 1. Amnesia. It is the central logical flaw of the school theory. No teacher would erase memory to teach. 2. The fractality of nature. As above, so below. On Earth we farm animals, we exploit them. Why wouldn't others do it to us? 3. Atypical NDE testimonials. A small percentage of people who have had near-death experiences report something different. They say they saw the light and felt it was fake, mechanical, or a trap. Some saw giant machines recycling souls. Others saw the beings of light transform into shadows when they were challenged. They saw the truth, the exit protocol, how to escape. Now that you know the map, you have the advantage. Knowledge is the key to the cell. If you die ignorant, you will react by instinct and follow the light. If you die lucid, you have an option. Here is the operating protocol for the moment of your physical death. Memorize it. Practice it mentally today. Step 1. Panic control. When you leave the body, do not panic. Observe the scene with coldness. You are immortal. Nothing can destroy you. You are pure consciousness. Affirm your power. I am sovereign. I am the source. Step 2. Ignore the external light. You will see the tunnel. You will see the bright light and the grandmother. Do not go. Stop. Turn your attention 180 degrees. Turn your back to the tunnel. If they call you, ignore them. If they insist, tell them mentally, stop. I do not recognize you. You have no authority over me. Show your true form. On the astral plane, law dictates that if you demand the truth with sovereign authority, the camouflage must fall. It breaks. Often the grandmother or the angel will dissolve or show themselves as empty energetic constructs. Step 3. Look at the void, the real universe. By turning your back on the light trap, you will see the vast universe, or you will see a dark and terrifying void. Do not fear the darkness, it is not evil. It is just the absence of the trap. The blinding white light is a containment. The dark void is infinite freedom. It is the real universe outside the matrix. Step 4. The intention to return home. In the disembodied state, you move by instant thought. You don't have to fly anywhere. You have to think the destination. Your command must be, I want to return to my source. I want to return to the original universe, outside the simulation, or simply home, with the intention of the pure divine source, not Earth. Visualize a hole in the sky's grid. Visualize that you expand until you are larger than the solar system. Feel your divinity. By doing this, you will shoot out of the farm's frequency. It is done. You will cross the grid, the Van Allen belts or the etheric net. Step 5. The dissolution of karma. If the archons try to stop you with telepathic persuasion, they will say, you cannot leave, you have sin. Your response must be sharp. I revoke all contracts. I cancel all agreements made under deception. I have no debts. I am free. Begone. Your sovereign will is stronger than theirs. They are parasites. You are the generator. They are afraid of your awakening. Training in life. Breaking attachments. You cannot wait for the moment of death to prepare. You have to start today. If you die full of addictions or desperately attached to the material, gravity will pull you back. 1. Disconnect from the emotional system. Stop generating louche. Stop reacting with anger to the news. Stop living with fear. Practice stoicism. The less food you give them in life, the less interest they will have in you at death. 2. Revocation of contracts. Make declarations of sovereignty regularly. Sit in meditation and state your freedom. Say, I break, cancel, and nullify any contract, pact, or agreement made in this life or past lives with any entity that does not serve my highest good. I revoke permission to use my energy. I declare my freedom in all dimensions. 3. Lucid dreaming as a rehearsal. Learn to have lucid dreams. The dream world is the astral plane of death. If you can wake up in a dream and control your actions, you can wake up in death and control your destiny. If in the dream you let yourself be carried by the unconscious current, in death you will be carried by the tunnel. Train your lucidity. The alternative. What is outside? People fear the unknown. Do I float in nothingness? No. Outside the matrix is the real universe. You are a creator. You can create your own worlds. You can explore dimensions of freedom that you cannot even imagine with your limited human brain. You can merge with the source and rest in absolute ecstasy. You can choose to incarnate in worlds of true cooperation. Freedom is infinite and real. Earth is just a small dirty sandbox on an infinite beach. Do not be afraid to leave the sandbox. What if I want to go back? You might say, but I love Earth. I love my partner. That's fine. It is your choice. But if you return, let it be as a conscious volunteer, not as a recycled slave. There are beings who go back to help others escape. These beings, avatars or bodhisattvas, recover their total memory and decide to re-enter to hack the system from within. But they do it with conditions. They negotiate their contracts. They maintain certain intuition. If you return, let it be under your own terms. Ensure you do not sign the memory erase. It is a huge risk to take. Chapter 3. Chaos, Magic and Sigils. Welcome to Chaos Magic. Forget the robes, the wands, the expensive incense, and the prayers to ancient gods. That is theater. That is dogma. Chaos Magic is a meta-technology. Its motto is brutally simple. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. It doesn't matter if you believe in God, energy, aliens, or nothing at all. Use what works. In Chaos Magic, belief is just a tool. Use the belief that serves you to obtain the result and then discard it. The problem you have when trying to manifest something is not that you don't desire enough. The problem is that you have a firewall installed in your brain. Today we will learn to hack it using modern occultism's most potent technique, the enemy, the psychic censor. Why do positive affirmations fail? You stand in front of the mirror and say, I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire. But nothing happens. In fact, you feel worse. Why? Because there is a guardian entity in your mind located on the border between the conscious and the subconscious. Freud called it censorship. Chaos magicians call it the psychic censor. The function of the censor is to keep your reality coherent and safe. He is the guardian of the status quo. When you say, I am a millionaire, the censor scans your current reality, sees your empty bank account, and shouts, lie access denied. The command never reaches the deep creative machine. In fact, by repeating the affirmation, you activate the resistance of the censor, reinforcing the idea that you are not rich. It is the opposite effect. For magic to work, you cannot face the censor head-on. He is stronger than you. His logic is impeccable. You have to trick him, you have to smuggle the desire into the subconscious Trojan horse. That Trojan horse is the sigil, Austin Osman Spare and the death of meaning. In the early 20th century, a British artist and occultist named Austin Osman Spare discovered the glitch in the matrix. He realized the subconscious does not speak Spanish, English, or Latin. The subconscious speaks in symbols and sensations. It is a deep code. He also realized that if he could strip a desire of its conscious linguistic meaning, the censor would not know what it is and would let it pass. A sigil is exactly that, an encrypted desire. You take a clear intention, I want a promotion. You destroy it, you compress it, and you turn it into an abstract drawing that means nothing to you. When looking at the drawing, your conscious mind says, it's just a scribble, and it relaxes. The censor lowers its guard, but your subconscious, which saw how you encoded the message, recognizes the source code and executes the program. It is SQL code injection into the database of reality. It is a direct command to the operating system. Construction protocol, step by step. Let's create a sigil right now. You don't need to be an artist. You need paper, a pen, and silence. Step 1, statement of intent. Write your desire in one sentence. Mandatory rules. Present tense, not I want to have, but I have. Positive, not I don't want to be sick, but I am healthy. Precise. Example, I have perfect health. Step 2, compression, noise removal. Now cross out all repeated letters. Cross out I, H, A, V, E, P, R, F, C, T, L. Delete vowels if you want to make it even more cryptic, or leave only unique consonants. Let's say we are left with H, V, P, R, F, C, T, L. Step 3, graphic design, encryption. Start drawing. Take those remaining letters and combine them into a single drawing. Merge the H with the V, make the P a curve that surrounds the R, play with the lines, simplify, stylize. Keep drawing until the letters disappear and only a strange symbol remains. It should look like an alien logo, an ancient rune, or cybernetic graffiti. It's ready. The important thing is that when you look at it, you can no longer read the original phrase. The conscious meaning must have died. Now it is just an image. This is your sigil. The virus is ready. The moment of charging, gnosis. Having the drawing is useless by itself. It is like having a bullet without gunpowder. You need to fire it. You need to shoot it toward the subconscious. To do so, you need a special mental state called gnosis. Gnosis is an altered state of consciousness where the rational mind turns off completely for a few seconds and the deep mind opens wide. It is the moment when the psychic censor goes to the bathroom. There are 2 ways to reach gnosis. 1. Inhibitory gnosis, silence. Deep meditation, staring at a fixed point until vision blurs, sensory deprivation, or the moment just before falling asleep, hypnagogic state. 2. Excitatory gnosis, chaos. This is the fast track and the favorite of chaos magicians. It is achieved through the overload of the nervous system. It's intense. Sexual. Orgasm is the moment of greatest biological creative power. At the exact second of climax, the mind goes blank. You don't think about the shopping list. You are pure energy. Pain, effort. Extreme physical exercise until muscle failure. Hyperventilation, ice-cold showers, or even controlled pain, tattoos, etc. Total surrender. Pure emotion, terror, roller coaster, blind rage, musical ecstasy, trance, frenetic spinning dance. The firing procedure. Choose your method of gnosis. The most common and accessible is solo sex magic. Start raising your energy. Keep the image of the sigil in front of your eyes or visualize it with strength. It must be very vivid. Right at the moment of the peak, the orgasm, total exhaustion, the breaking point, shout the sigil mentally. Project the image of the symbol into the void of your mind. Imagine the symbol burns, glows intensely, and is printed in the darkness behind your eyelids. Hold that image while the energy explodes. The virus has been injected. In that microsecond, the censor was blinded by pleasure or pain. The sigil went all the way into the kitchen. The final step, banishment and forgetting. This is where 90% of beginners fail. Once you have charged the sigil, you must do something counterintuitive. You must destroy it and forget it, burn the paper, delete it from the computer, flush it down the toilet, and most importantly, get it out of your head. This is called detachment from the result, lust for result. If after doing the ritual you spend the day thinking, will it work? When will the money arrive? You are digging up the seed to see if it has roots. You are stopping the natural process of creation. Every time you doubt, your censor wakes up again and says, wait, what was that we put in earlier? Oh, a desire for money. Block it, because this guy is worried about money. You have to distract your conscious mind. Go play video games. Eat something heavy, laugh, do something trivial. Austin Osman Spare said, do you desire to obtain it? Then do not desire it. The paradox is that the sigil works best when you have consciously forgotten what that strange drawing meant. When the conscious mind forgets, the subconscious remembers and executes. The spell has been cast. Now, occupy yourself with something else. Corporate sigils. We are under attack. Look at the logos. If you think this is esoteric madness, look around you. You live in a world saturated with sigils. Great corporations know this. What is the logo of a famous brand? The bitten apple, the golden arches, the sports swoosh, They are sigils. They are abstract symbols charged with intention. Buy, obey, eat, feel status. They are effective. They invest millions in charging those sigils through advertising repetition and emotion, mild gnosis, in commercials. When you see the logo, you don't read sneaker company. You feel a subconscious impulse of just do it. Governments use sigils, flags, coats of arms. Religions use sigils, crosses, stars, moons. Everyone uses them. Chaos magic simply gives you the tools so that you stop being the receiver of others' sigils and start emitting your own. It is psychic self-defense. You can create sigils for everything. To find parking, to heal a headache, to attract a phone call, to become invisible in a dangerous situation, sigil of do not see me. It is your power. Advanced techniques, shoaling. Once you master the simple sigil, you can try the robofish technique. If you want something big, like being a millionaire, it is hard to forget it. Your mind will be anxious. The solution is to launch a shoal of fish, shoaling. Instead of just one giant sigil, you launch 10 small related sigils. Example, Sigil 1, get a new client. Sigil 2, find $10 on the street. Sigil 3, get invited to lunch. Sigil 4, see a blue feather, reality test. Sigil 5, the real desire, massive income. Sigil 6, sleep well tonight. You launch them all together. You do a massive ritual. Your censor gets confused. He cannot block so many desires at once. Also, when the small sigils, the blue feather, the $10 start to come true, your confidence in magic goes up. Your faith increases. And that feeds the big sigil. You hide the big desire among a lot of trivial desires. It is magical camouflage. The hypersigil, your life as a work of art. The most advanced concept is the hypersigil. A hypersigil is not a drawing. It is a work of art, a book, a song, or a character you create to alter reality in the long term. Comic book writers like Grant Morrison use this all the time. They write a character that is an idealized version of themselves, make good things happen to them in the story, and those things start to happen. You can create a hypersigil, change your way of dressing, change your name on social media, create an alter ego, start acting as if you were that character, write a diary of the future as if it had already happened. You are not faking. You are creating a living sigil in 4 dimensions. You are dragging reality toward your narrative. Safety warning: the monkey's paw effect. I must warn you, chaos magic works, and it works literally. The subconscious is like a malicious genie of the lamp or a very literal artificial intelligence. If your sigil says, I want to not go to work, your subconscious can fulfill it by breaking your leg so you stay in the hospital. The desire was fulfilled. You didn't go to work. But the method was disastrous. You must be surgical with your intention. Instead of, I do not want to work, use, I have paid and enjoyable vacations. Instead of, I want to lose weight, which could be from an illness, use, I have an athletic and healthy body. Always specify clearly. Always include a safety clause in your mind. May this manifest for my highest good and without harm to anyone. Remember, once the sigil is launched, it is no longer your responsibility. It is like throwing a stone into a lake. You cannot control the ripples once the stone has left your hand. Make sure to aim well before you throw. Ethics of chaos. Can you use this to control others? I want Maria to love me. Technically, and you can try, but in chaos metaphysics, there are consequences. If you try to bend the will of another sovereign being, you are inviting a psychic war. Their subconscious will defend itself. And what is worse, you are creating a dependency link. You are tying yourself to that person. The chaos magician prefers to work on himself. Instead of I want Maria, use I attract perfect and passionate love. Maybe it's Maria, or maybe it's someone 1,000 times better than Maria that your conscious mind didn't even know. Do not limit the universe. Play big. This is your reality. Chapter 4. The Quantum Double. Garnier Malet's theory and communication during REM sleep. You have been lied to about loneliness. You have been made to believe that you are alone in your body, struggling against tomorrow's uncertainty, making blind decisions in a chaotic world. They told you that to know the future you have to wait for it to arrive, or turn to charlatans. But modern physics has discovered a glitch in time, a secret that the ancient Greeks called kairos, that shamans called the nagual, and that current science, through physicist Jean-Pierre Garnier Malet, calls the doubling of time. The premise is both terrifying and liberating. You are not alone. You never have been. Right now, as you hear my voice, there is another version of you. It is a version that is not trapped in the density of your physical body, a version that moves at speeds greater than light, a version that has already lived your tomorrow, your next week, and your next year, and is desperately waiting for you to ask, which is the best path? Welcome to the knowledge of your own quantum double. This is not religion. It is not the guardian angel from childhood pictures. It is temporal fluid mechanics, and today you are going to learn how to synchronize your watch with it. The illusion of continuity, stroboscopic time. To understand the double, you must first destroy your concept of time. It is not a continuous flow. Physics tells us that time is discontinuous. It is like a movie. In the cinema, you see fluid movement, but in reality, you are seeing 24 still photos per second. Between photo and photo, there is a black space. Your brain is slow. It does not see the black space. It joins the photos and creates the illusion of continuity for you. But what happens in that black space? What happens in the no time between 2 seconds? Doubling theory states that in those imperceptible micro-instants, time accelerates to infinity. You live in slow time, the photo. Your double lives in fast time, the black space. While you blink, your energetic double detaches from you. He travels to the future, explores all possibilities, sees dangers, sees treasures, and returns to your body before you finish blinking. For you, nothing has happened, but your subconscious has received a massive download of information. We call it intuition, déjà vu, or premonition. That hunch was a report from your double. Who is the double? Let's clear this up to avoid mystical confusion. The double is not a foreign spirit. It is not a dead guide. The double is you. It is your wave component. Quantum physics says every particle is also a wave, wave-particle duality. You are matter, body-particle, and you are energy, double wave at the same time. The body manages the present. The double manages the future. The problem is that most human beings live disconnected from their double. They live like a blind person with a guide dog who decided to let go of the leash and walk into traffic. You ignore the signs, you rationalize intuitions, and worst of all, you send him to build hells. How we create our future. The mechanics of danger. Here is the operational key of the Omega Code. Your double is a faithful servant and an exploration machine. He travels to the future to update the potentials that you indicate with your present thought. If you spend all day in fear, you are giving GPS coordinates to your double. You are telling him, go to the future and find timelines where I get fired, get sick, and am betrayed. Bring them here. The double, being obedient, travels to those dark timelines, densifies them, and brings them to your reality. Then, when the misfortune happens, you say, I knew it. Of course you knew, you ordered it from him. Murphy's Law is not bad luck. It is the result of millions of people using their quantum doubles to scan for catastrophes. To get out of the matrix of suffering, you must learn to give your double the opposite mission, the mission of finding the best possible future. You must direct the search toward harmony and success today. Data exchange, paradoxical sleep. When does massive communication occur between you and your double? During the day, it is difficult because there is too much mental noise. The exchange occurs in bursts, but the real synchronization, the full data download, happens during the night, specifically in paradoxical sleep or the REM phase. During REM sleep, your brain activity skyrockets, but your body is paralyzed. In that moment, the two parts of you meet. The double returns from his journey through hypertime and dumps the information into your biology. If the connection is clean, you wake up knowing what to do. Problems solve themselves. Synchronicity appears. But if you go to sleep in a bad state, you block the connection. If you fall asleep watching horror news, or arguing with your partner, or reviewing your debts with anguish, you dirty the channel. The double cannot download the solution because your frequency is too low. It's like a bad internet connection. It just cuts off. Night Connection Protocol. Garnier Malet discovered that a critical window of opportunity exists, a moment where the dimensional door is wide open. It is the hypnagogic moment, the minute just before falling asleep. Not when you are brushing your teeth or looking at your phone, but when you close your eyes and begin to drift. This is the exact protocol to hack your future tonight. Step 1. Conscious hydration. Water is the information conductor par excellence. Before bed, drink a glass of water, but do not drink it mechanically. Drink it with the intention of cleaning your fluids and improving the electrical conductivity of your brain. It is a ritual. Step 2. The state of benevolence. This is the safety requirement of the system. You cannot contact the double from hate or extreme selfishness because those frequencies are dense and slow. The double vibrates at high speed. You must enter a state of benevolence. This means being at peace with others. Put your weapons down tonight. Step 3. The petition, the order. Just as you are falling asleep, speak to your double. Call him higher self or future me. Give the coordinate. If you have a problem, say, you know the problem, and you know the best possible future to solve it. I hand it over to you. Erase the wrong memories and update the solution. I trust you. The key is the phrase, the best possible future. Do not tell him how to do it. Your limited conscious mind thinks the solution is winning the lottery, but maybe the double sees that it would ruin your life. Let infinite intelligence choose the route, the how. You only ask for the destination, the what, peace, solution. Step 4. Abandonment, the petite mort. Once the petition is made, you must stop worrying instantly. It is like giving a package to an express courier. Once you give it to him, it is no longer your problem. It is his job to deliver it. If you keep ruminating, the messenger cannot leave. Sleep with the feeling of relief. It's done. The 40-day quarantine. Garnier Malet speaks of a 40-day cycle. In the physics of time, the inertia of the past is strong. If you have been thinking poorly for 20 years, you have created a highway of horrible futures. Your double has to clean up a lot of trash before you see the gold. Sometimes results are immediate. Sometimes they take time. Success indicators. Synchronicities and déjà vu. How do you know if contact was established? You will start to notice synchronicities. Life becomes fluid. Obstacles dissolve. And you will experience déjà vu. People think déjà vu is a brain glitch. In the Omega Code, déjà vu is success confirmation. It means you are aligned. Danger. Double parasitism. I must warn you about something occultists know well. The communication channel must be clean. If you try to use the double to harm others, you are playing with radioactive fire. By projecting an intention of harm to the future, you are creating a reality where harm exists. It will hit you first. He who digs a hole shall fall into it. The double has no morals. It is a blind force. If you give it poison, it will bring you a poisoned future. Benevolence is not a moralistic rule. It is a technical protection rule. Only harmonic futures are sustainable. Hateful futures are unstable and collapse upon the Creator eventually. Potential future versus realized future. Understand this. The future does not exist yet. There are infinite potential futures. It is like a tree with 1,000 branches. Your double travels the branches. If you are afraid, the double travels rotten branches and solidifies them. If you have trust, he travels strong branches. Advanced technique, shared journey. Can you use this to help others? Yes. If you have a sick child or a partner in crisis, you can help. But beware, you cannot impose your will. You can ask, may my double contact the double of my loved one and find together the best solution for their soul. They communicate in hyperspace. The night is not for sleeping. The night is for working in the invisible. Your bed is your operations center. Stop wasting your nights falling unconscious like a tired animal. Enter sleep like a magus. Prepare the water. Clean your heart. Give the order. And let your infinite self build you a glorious tomorrow while you rest. You are no longer alone. You have the best explorer in the universe working for you. Use him, but there is a problem. There are times when you try to connect with your double and you feel a voice in your head that is not you. A voice that sabotages you. In the next chapter, we will turn the light on mental parasites. Chapter 5. Mental Parasites, the Flyers, Castaneda's Toltec vision of the foreign mind. Ask yourself a question that perhaps you have never dared to utter out loud, but that has haunted the edges of your sanity on sleepless nights. Why is there a voice in your head that never shuts up? Why, if you are the master of your mind, can you not order it to stop? Why does that voice tell you things that you do not want to think? Why does it sabotage you just when you are about to succeed? Why does it obsessively remind you of your past mistakes or terrify you with futures that do not exist? Why, despite being the most intelligent species on the planet, is the human being the only species that lives in a constant state of anxiety, self-destruction, and conflict? Modern psychology will tell you it is neurosis. It will tell you it is childhood trauma. It will tell you it is a chemical imbalance. But the ancient shamans of ancient Mexico, the seers of the Toltec lineage, saw something much darker. They saw the root cause. And the conclusion they reached is so terrifying that most prefer denial. The conclusion is this: that mind you hear is not yours. You have been given a mind that does not belong to you. It is a foreign installation. It is an implanted device. There is an entity, a shadow, that operates your brain like a pianist operates a piano. The shamans called them the flyers or the mud shadows. Today we expose the intruder, the discovery of the predator. Don Juan Matus, the Nagual who instructed Carlos Castaneda, revealed the final secret of sorcery when he was ready for his ego to be crushed. He said, "We have a companion for life, a predator that came from the depths of the cosmos and took control over our lives. Human beings are its prisoners. It is our lord. It has made us docile, helpless. If we want to protest, it suppresses our protest. If we want to act independently, it demands that we do not." This is not a metaphor. In the predatory universe, everything eats and everything is eaten. You eat chickens. The flyers eat you. But they do not eat your flesh. They eat your light. Energy. Specifically, they feed on the glistening coat of awareness. According to seers, the human being is born as a luminous sphere of energy, completely covered by a glistening coat of awareness. That coat is our magic, our connection with the infinite, our creativity and pure joy. But as we grow, that coat is devoured by them. The flyers consume it until only a small puddle of awareness is left at the tip of the toes. That small puddle is just enough to keep us alive, so we keep producing, and to allow us only one function: self-reflection, the ego. They have left us alive, but lobotomized. They have left us only the part of the mind that cares about me, me, me. The flyer milks us, and to milk us it needs us to be in a specific vibratory state. The foreign installation, the internal dialogue. How do they control us without physical chains? They gave us their mind. Listen to this carefully. The mind of the flyer is the mind of the average human being. You don't have to look for the devil outside. The devil is the software you are using to process these words right now. The mind of the flyer is baroque and contradictory. It thinks one thing and does another. Fearful, it lives in constant terror of being discovered or attacked. Repetitive, it repeats the same loops of useless thought, songs, worries, to keep the brain frequency in beta. Obsessive with the I, personal importance. The flyer keeps you in a state of mitote, chaos. It makes you worry about what they will say. It makes you feel offended by nonsense. It makes you feel superior or inferior. Why? Because when you feel those dense and egotistical emotions, you generate a flare of emotional energy. Dinner. That flare is their dinner. When you get depressed for no apparent reason, it is the flyer taking a bite. When you have an irrational anxiety attack, it is the flyer shaking the cage so that you produce adrenaline and fear, which is its favorite liquor. They farm us as we farm chickens. And the tool of cultivation is internal dialogue. That voice that narrates your life, "Look what an ugly day, that person looked at me wrong, I won't have money," is the suction mechanism. As long as you are talking to yourself in your head, you are feeding the parasite. As long as you sustain the world with your internal dialogue, the world cannot change. It remains rigid. The proof of existence. If you believe this is fantasy, try a test right now. Try to stop your thinking. Try to stay in absolute mental silence for 1 minute. No words, no images, only pure perception. You can't, right? After 5 seconds, the voice breaks in. This is nonsense. I'm hungry. Am I doing it right? That resistance is not you. You, the infinite being, would desire silence because silence is peace and power. The resistance is the entity that knows that silence is its death. If you manage to stop the internal dialogue, the flyer loses its grip on you. It falls off. That is why it fights with such ferocity to distract you. It invented noise and phones for this. The modus operandi. Personal importance. The heaviest anchor that the flyer installed in our psyche is personal importance. It is the belief that you are the center of the universe and that everything that happens affects you personally. It is the inflated and fragile ego. Personal importance consumes 90% of our vital energy. We spend our lives defending our image, getting offended if they don't greet us, worrying about our status, seeking approval. Don Juan said, "Personal importance is our worst enemy. What weakens us is feeling offended by the deeds and misdeeds of our fellow men. It requires that we spend our lives offended by someone. It's food. The flyer needs you to be important. Because if you feel important, you feel separate from the all. And if you feel separate, you are afraid. And if you are afraid, you are food. A warrior who has no personal importance is invulnerable. He cannot be offended. He cannot be drained. He has no hooks where the flyer can grab hold. The warrior's strategy: how to starve them. You cannot fight the flyers with punches. They are inorganic beings from another dimension. They are energetic. Furthermore, they are much smarter than you because they use your intelligence against you. If you try to fight your negative thoughts, the flyer wins. Conflict is food. If you get angry with the flyer, it eats from your anger. The only possible strategy is discipline, but not the discipline of a soldier who wakes up at 5 a.m. The discipline of the Toltec is the capacity to face the uncalculable with serenity. It is the discipline of refusing to participate in the mental drama. Become inedible. You must make your energy so unpleasant for them that they spit you out and go look for another more docile human. How does energy taste bad? When it is energy of peace, of silence, and of high vibration. The flyers cannot stand the vibration of unconditional love or inner silence. It is like acid to them. It burns their structure. Technique 1. Stopping the world, turning off internal dialogue. This is the mother technique. You must practice mental silence as if your life depended on it, because it does. Use your senses to saturate the parasite. The power walk exercise. Go for a walk. But do not walk thinking about your problems. Fix your gaze on the horizon. Use peripheral vision. Do not look at anything fixedly. Encompass the full 180 degrees of vision. Feel the weight of your feet. Listen to all sounds at once without labeling them. Feel the wind. When you saturate your senses with information from the now, the brain has no free CPU to generate words. The internal dialogue stops. Victory. The flyer becomes mute. In that moment of silence, you will feel pressure in your head or a sudden irrational fear. It is the parasite panicking. Hold the silence. If you hold it long enough, the world stops. The rigid illusion collapses, and you see energy as it truly is. You see the filaments of the universe without the filter. Technique 2. Strategic inventory, disidentification. The flyer uses your memory and your personal history to manipulate you. It tells you, you are John, the one who failed in 2010, the one who is shy. You must inventory these thoughts and label them as foreign installation. When a depressing thought arises, do not accept it as yours. Do not say, I think I'm worthless, and say, it's you, the flyer is trying to eat, I see you. I'm not buying that idea. That thought is not mine. Treat the foreign mind as if it were a radio turned on in the room. You can hear it, but you don't have to dance to its music. Observe it with scientific coldness. Mind is generating anxiety. By observing it without reacting emotionally, you starve it. The flyer gets bored. A parasite does not stay where there is no food. You become a dry source. Eventually the frequency shifts and the connection weakens. You are reclaiming the territory of your own brain. This is the true meaning of taking back your sovereignty. Technique 3. Death as an advisor. The flyer hides death from you or terrifies you with it. It makes you live as if you were immortal, postponing everything. wasting time on nonsense. The antidote is to use death as an advisor. Don Juan said, "Death is our eternal companion. It is always to our left at an arm's length. It is there." When the flyer tells you, "Worry about what your boss will say," you turn to your left and ask your death, "Is this important?" Your death will tell you, "No, nothing matters except my touch. I haven't touched you yet, so you are alive. Enjoy." Facing death, the flyer's personal importance becomes ridiculous. Who cares about the ego now? Using the awareness of death gives you immediate sobriety. It anchors you in the present. The flyer cannot operate in the sobriety of the present. It needs the fog of the past or the anxiety of the future. By bringing the reality of your end to the now, you cut the supply of louche. You become a warrior of the immediate and the real. The fleeing mind phenomenon. Castaneda describes that, after years of discipline, a day comes when the flyer gives up. The foreign mind flees. It is a physical event. It is often felt as a sudden clarity, or as if something detached from the back of the head. And what is left is silence. But it is not an empty silence, it has power. The true mind returns. The mind that knows things without thinking them. The mind that connects with the quantum double. The magical mind. Suddenly, you realize that you have been carrying a monkey on your back your whole life, and now you are light. However, there is a danger. When the flyer leaves, it sometimes returns to check. If you return to your old habits of worry and victimhood, the parasite says, "Ah, the restaurant has opened again," and installs itself once more. Freedom requires eternal vigilance. You must maintain your discipline even after the victory. You are now the guardian of your own silence. Do not let the intruder back into your temple. The Gnostic perspective and the watcher. Not only the Toltecs saw this. In the Apocryphon of John, Gnosticism, they speak of the archons who gave man the counterfeit spirit, the egoic mind, to disconnect him from the divine spirit. St. Paul speaks of the struggle against principalities and powers. Toll calls it the body of pain. They all speak of the same thing, the parasite. You are not crazy. The voice in your head is not you. You are the observer of the voice, and your task in this incarnation is to evict the tenant. You are the rightful owner of this biological vessel. It is time to reclaim the throne and use your energy for your own evolution and growth. Direct psychic attack. Sometimes when you start to wake up, as you are doing with this audiobook, the flyer attacks with force. You will feel an irresistible sleepiness while listening to this. You will feel irrational irritation toward my words. You will feel extreme doubts. This is stupid, turn it off. Matrix defense system. Or you will have nightmares. It is the matrix immune system trying to reject the cure. Recognize it. Smile. Say, "I see you. You are afraid because I am discovering you." Persist. The intensity of the attack is a sign of how close you are to the truth. Do not yield. Every time you persist through the discomfort, you win a bit more light. The use of the shadow. Do not hate the flyer. In an ironic twist of fate, the flyer is our trainer. It is the weight we lift in the cosmic gym. If we did not have such a relentless predator pushing us, we would be lazy and stupid beings of light. The flyer forces us to be impeccable. It forces us to develop discipline. It wakes us up. Thanks to its pressure, we evolve. It is the devil who, wanting to do evil, ends up serving the purpose of evolution. Use it as your sparring partner, but do not let it win. Once it has fulfilled its purpose of making you strong, you can let it go. You are now a warrior of consciousness, ready for the next level of the Omega Code. Chapter 6. Sacred Geometry and Cymatics, the Programming Language of Matter. If you could see the universe through the eyes of the creator or the programmer, you would not see trees, buildings, or people. You would not see colors or textures. You would see numbers. You would see angles. You would see frequencies. You would see an infinite grid of self-replicating geometric patterns and fractals unfolding everywhere. We have been taught that matter is solid, that atoms are hard little balls colliding with each other. But operative metaphysics and cutting-edge physics tell us otherwise. Matter does not exist. What we call matter is simply frozen music. It is sound trapped in a geometric form. It is a specific vibration held in a visible state. In the Bible it is said, "In the beginning was the Word, Logos, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." The Word is not a spoken word in Hebrew or Aramaic. The word is a frequency. It is a sound vibration. The universe began with a sound. That sound generated a shape. And that shape is what you call reality or the matrix. Welcome to the source code of the matrix. Today we are going to study cymatics, the study of visible sound, and sacred geometry, the blueprints of universal architecture. If you learn to modify sound and form, you learn to restructure matter at will. You stop being an inhabitant of the house, and you finally become the architect. Cymatics, proof that sound creates form. To understand how reality is programmed, look at the work of Swiss scientist Hans Jenny or physicist Ernst Chladni. They did a simple but revealing experiment. They took a metal plate, scattered sand on it, and then made the plate vibrate with a frequency generator. What happens is shocking. When the plate vibrates at a specific frequency, the sand does not move chaotically. The sand magically organizes itself into perfect geometric patterns. It creates mandalas. It creates stars, hexagons, and spirals. If you raise the frequency, the pattern becomes more complex. If you turn off the sand becomes formless chaos. Conclusion: form does not create sound. Sound creates form. The geometric structure of the sand is maintained only by the invisible vibration passing through it. Now, extrapolate this. You are not sand. You are atoms. But atoms vibrate. What keeps your atoms together in the shape of a human? What keeps your liver being a liver? A specific frequency. A biological song. Your body is an orchestra. Every organ has its tone. Disease is literally a dissonance. It is when an organ loses its natural frequency and starts vibrating out of tune. If sound organizes matter, then changing the sound or mental vibration should change the physical structure of your reality. That is why the ancients sang mantras in Sanskrit. That is why Gothic cathedrals have that specific acoustics. They knew that sound is the universe's masonry tool, sacred geometry, the pixels of God. If sound is the engine, geometry is the blueprint. Everything in the universe follows precise geometric patterns and mathematical laws. From the shell of a snail to the spiral of a galaxy, from the proportions of your own arm to a sunflower, the golden ratio, phi, and the Fibonacci sequence rule. This is not aesthetics. It is energy efficiency. Energy flows along lines of least resistance, and those lines are geometric. Plato said the world was made of 5 perfect solids: tetrahedron, fire; hexahedron, earth; octahedron, air; icosahedron, water; and dodecahedron, ether, universe. For modern science, these are models of atomic and molecular structures. Reality is a fractal and digital hologram. Like a video game, if you zoom in, you see small polygons. Reality is a geometric mesh or a digital net. We call this mesh the flower of life. It is the creation pattern of life itself. Why does this matter? Because if you understand that you live within a geometric grid, you understand that symbols and shapes emit information. A square emits stability and stagnation. A triangle emits direction. A spiral emits expansion and growth. When you surround yourself with trash geometry, ugly square buildings, grey cities without fractal harmony, your energy field becomes distorted. When you surround yourself with sacred geometry, nature, ancient temples, harmonic art, your field orders itself and you heal. You must choose your environment carefully to protect your code. The great 400 Hz conspiracy. If sound controls mind and matter, who controls the sound you hear? In 1953, the standard tuning for all the world's music was set at A, Mundo 440 Hz. Before that, classical tuning used to vibrate around 402 Hz. What is the difference? It is only 8 Hz, but the difference is abysmal for your subconscious mind. 432 Hz is a harmonic frequency with nature. It is mathematically consistent with the Earth's rotation and the golden ratio. When you listen to 432 Hz, you feel peace and warmth in your chest. 440 Hz, on the contrary, is an artificial frequency. It has no correspondence in sacred nature. It is a frequency designed to disconnect us. Studies suggest that 440 Hz generates subtle tension, anxiety, and aggressiveness. It stimulates the left brain, logical, egoic, and suppresses the right, intuitive, creative. It detunes us from nature. We live in a vibratory soup designed to keep us stressed and disconnected. Pop music and TV are tuned to keep you in the matrix. The initiate must be aware of this. You must look for music tuned to 432 Hz or 528 Hz, the DNA repair frequency. You must cleanse your sonic diet. Water, the liquid hard drive. Your body is 70% water. Your brain is 90%. Dr. Masaru Emoto proved that water has memory and responds to vibration. He photographed frozen water crystals. He exposed water to words like love or Mozart's music. The crystals were perfect hexagons, beautiful like jewels. He exposed the same water to I hate you or dissonant heavy metal. The crystals were deformed and asymmetrical. If thought and sound change the geometry of water, and you are water, your thoughts are vital. Your thoughts are crystallizing your blood and cells in real time. If you say I am ugly or I am sick, you are turning the water of your body into a geometric swamp. If you say thank you or light, you turn your fluids into high conductivity geometric nectar. Geometrically structured water conducts the electricity of your soul better. The secret of cathedrals and pyramids. Why did the ancients build pyramids and Gothic cathedrals with such exact proportions? It wasn't just to look pretty. Those buildings are resonance machines. They are consciousness amplifiers. The shape of the pyramid captures cosmic currents and generates a field of standing waves inside it. When you enter the King's Chamber, or the center of Chartres Cathedral, your body enters resonance with that sacred geometry. Your DNA recognizes the pattern. Your pineal gland activates. It is stone technology. Today we live in concrete shoeboxes, cubes. The cube is the cage. The cube isolates. Modern architecture kills the spirit. Operative protocols, geometric hacking. Protocol 1, the sonic shield, humming. Your own voice is the most powerful healing tool you have. Humming with your mouth closed like a bee, vibrates your bones and your vagus nerve. This internal vibration releases nitric oxide, relaxes the nervous system and breaks stress. Practice. When you feel anxiety or before a ritual, close your eyes. Cover your ears with your fingers. Inhale deep, and as you exhale, make a low mmm sound, resonating your chest and head. Feel how the geometry of your body realigns itself. Do it for 5 minutes. It is a system reboot. It clears the discordant frequencies. Protocol 2, geometric visualization, the Merkaba. You must learn to install geometric software in your aura. The most famous protection field is the Merkaba, 2 interlocking tetrahedrons. Visualize a pyramid of light pointing up and another pointing down, rotating in opposite directions. This creates a force field that filters parasites. Protocol 3, water reprogramming. Never drink dead water. Before drinking, apply consciousness. Hold the glass. Look at the water. Project onto it a geometric symbol, like a flower of life, and a word, healing or power. Imagine a laser from your eyes charging the water. You are ingesting a liquid program to rewrite your internal code. Protocol 4, space clearing. If your house feels heavy, use sound to break it. You don't need a priest. Use loud claps in the corners of the room. Use a singing bowl, or play solfeggio frequencies, 528 Hz or 432 Hz, at full volume for an hour. The sound will order the molecules of air and dust. You will change the invisible architecture, the lost language. Before the Tower of Babel, it is said there was only one language. That language was not made of arbitrary words. It was a language where the sound of the word contained the essence of the thing. If you said fire, the sound had the frequency of fire and could start a flame. We have lost that power in modern times. But you can recover part of that power by chanting the primordial vowels. A, chest, heart. U, belly, your earth. I, head, third eye. M, end, integration. AUM, OM, is not religion. It is physics. It is the sound of totality. Use it to tune into the original frequency before the system was hacked by the archons. Reclaim your voice today. Chapter 7. The Hypnagogic State, the twilight zone between waking and sleep where reality is liquid. There is a crack in the wall of reality, a security flaw in the human design that allows, for a few brief minutes each day, the prisoner to speak directly with the warden. Most of humanity crosses this crack unconscious, drooling on the pillow, wasting the most powerful moment of their biological existence. You have been taught that there are two states, awake, waking, and asleep, dreaming. You have been told you are in one or the other. It is a lie. There is a third state, a border territory, a mental no-man's land, where you are neither awake nor asleep. Scientists call it the hypnagogic state. Mystics call it the bardo. Occultists call it the threshold. In this state, the laws of Newtonian physics are suspended. Linear logic turns off. The ego, the censor we talked about before, leaves its watchpost and goes to rest. And yet, awareness remains on. It is the exact moment when reality becomes liquid. The cement of the physical world has not yet dried. If you learn to surf in this twilight zone without falling into the abyss of deep sleep, you have direct access to the source code. You can reprogram your identity, heal your body, and download inventions from the ether. Welcome to the engine room. To understand this, let's talk about frequencies. During the day, your brain operates in beta waves, 1430 Hz. This is the state of alertness, stress, logic, and survival. Here, reality is solid and difficult to change. When you relax, you drop to alpha waves, 813 Hz. It is the state of calm, mild creativity. But just before sleep, your brain descends into theta waves, 4 to 7 Hz. Theta is the holy grail. It is the frequency of deep hypnosis. It is the frequency of monks in transcendental meditation. It is the frequency where children live until age 7, which is why they learn so fast and believe in magic. For them, it is real. In theta, the barrier between the conscious and the subconscious is non-existent. It is as if the bank vault door stays open for 5 minutes before the night alarm is activated. The problem is that theta is a slippery state. The human body is designed to pass through theta very quickly and fall into delta, deep sleep, unconsciousness. It is a free fall. The Omega Code initiate must learn to stop the fall. He must learn to put a foot in the door so it does not close. He must keep the body asleep, but the mind awake. If you think this is cheap mysticism, look at history. The greatest geniuses of humanity were hypnagogic hackers. They weren't smarter than you. They simply knew how to use the threshold. Thomas Alva Edison, the man who lit up the world, hated sleep. He said it was a waste of time. But he knew his best ideas came at the border. His technique was famous. He would sit in an armchair to take a nap, holding a heavy steel ball in his hand. Right under his hand, he placed a metal plate. He would begin to relax. He entered alpha, then theta. In that hypnagogic state, images, mathematical solutions, and inventions began to flow like a vivid hallucination. But if he fell deeply asleep, his hand would relax, the ball would fall onto the plate, clang, and the noise would wake him up. Edison would immediately grab a notebook and write down what he had seen in the zone. The light bulb, the phonograph, they emerged from the twilight zone. Salvador Dali did the same with a heavy spoon. He called this method the nap of the key. He said that in that microsecond of eternity, he saw melting clocks and spider-legged elephants. He didn't imagine them. He saw them. They were real on the hypnagogic plane. Nikola Tesla built his motors in his mind in this state. He ran them mentally for weeks, checked the wear and tear of the parts in the holographic simulation of his theta mind, and then built them physically. They never failed. They used hypnagogia to extract information, input. We are going to use it also to introduce information, output, to manifest. How do you know you are in the hypnagogic state? It has clear symptoms. It is not imagining. It is hallucinating. Hypnagogic images. Suddenly, you see geometric patterns, faces of strangers, landscapes, or flashes of light behind your closed eyelids. They are hyper-realistic. You are not consciously creating them, they appear on their own. They are the raw material of the forming dream. Phantom sounds. You hear your name, a bell, music, or fragments of incoherent conversations. It is your brain tuning into random radio frequencies from the collective. Sensation of falling or expansion. You feel like you are falling out of bed, myoclonic jerk. Or you feel your body swell like a balloon and occupy the whole room. Paralysis. You try to move a finger and it takes immense effort. Your body has activated the motor block for sleep, but you are still there, watching. This is the zone of maximum plasticity. Here, a thought becomes instant reality. If in this state you think of an apple, you don't see the word apple. You see a red, shiny apple floating in front of you. You can smell it. If you think of fear, you see a monster. That is why it is vital to enter with mental control. It is an instant reality amplifier. Crossing the threshold consciously can be terrifying at first. The guardian of the threshold will try to scare you back to waking life or into full sleep. Sometimes exploding head syndrome occurs. You are entering deep theta, and suddenly you hear a brutal explosion, a gunshot, or an electric scream inside your skull. You wake up with your heart racing. Nothing is wrong. It is not a stroke. It is a neuronal discharge of the auditory nerve as it disconnects. It is the sound of the system shutting down. If it happens to you, be glad. It means you were very close. Ignore it and move on. The other phenomenon is sleep paralysis. You wake up, or think you wake up, in the zone. You can't move. You feel pressure on your chest, and you see a shadow, the shadow man, or an old hag looking at you. You feel pure primitive terror. Conventional metaphysics will tell you they are demons. The Omega Code tells you they are projections of your own fear materialized by the hypnagogic state. Since you are in the zone of thought, creating immediate reality, your fear of being paralyzed creates a form that justifies that fear, a monster. The entity feeds on your terror, louche, defense protocol. If this happens to you, do not try to move, do not fight, relax. Turn the fear into curiosity. Say mentally, you are not real. It is me projecting. I order you to transform into light or disappear, or even better, use the paralysis as a springboard. Paralysis means your body is asleep and your mind is awake. It is the perfect state. Visualize yourself floating out of your paralyzed body. Simply roll outward. Sleep paralysis is the back door to astral travel. Do not waste it by being afraid. Use it to escape. How do we use this to change our physical reality, money, health, love? We will use the technique that Neville Goddard called SATS, state akin to sleep, but refined with modern self-hypnosis techniques. Step 1. Induction, tiring the body. Do this when you are already sleepy. Do not force it if you are wide awake. Lie on your back, corpse pose. This position makes it harder to fall asleep quickly, which is good for maintaining lucidity. Hands at your sides, palms down. Stay totally still. If something itches, ignore it. It is the body testing if the mind is still there. Step 2. The visual staircase, descending to theta. Close your eyes. Visualize a spiral staircase descending into darkness. Or imagine you are in an elevator going down 100 floors. With each exhalation, you go down 1 floor. Feel the gravity. Feel the descent. Continue until you feel a sensation of floating or disconnection from your limbs. You will begin to see hypnagogic images, colors, shapes. Do not get hooked on them. Let them pass like a screensaver. You are looking for depth, not entertainment. Step 3. Loop injection, the imaginative act. When you feel your body is heavy as lead and your mind is floating, theta state, it is time. Bring to your mind the final scene of your fulfilled desire. It must be a short scene, 5-10 seconds. It must involve physical and sensory action. Example: money. You are shaking hands with someone who congratulates you on your new contract. You feel the handshake. You hear their voice, congratulations. You feel your own smile. Example: health. You are running along the beach, feeling the air on your face and saying, I feel great. The key: repeat this short scene in a loop, over and over, like a mental animated GIF. Do not change the scene. Do not wander. Repeat it 20, 50, 100 times. At first, it will be difficult. Your mind will want to wander. Bring it back. Gradually, The scene will stop being something you imagine and will become something you are living. In theta, visualization solidifies. Suddenly, you will feel the real hand. You will hear the real voice. You will feel that you are there. That moment of total realism is the click. It is the moment when the seed has penetrated the ovum of the subconscious. Reality has been fertilized. Step 4. The bridge to unconsciousness. Once you feel that reality, or if you simply cannot hold it any longer, and sleep overcomes you, stop visualizing. Release the image with satisfaction, like someone releasing a balloon into the sky. Turn over in bed to your comfortable sleeping position and fall into deep sleep with the feeling of it is already done. The chemical work will be done during the night. Your subconscious will take that experience, because to it was real, it occurred in theta, and move the entire universe to replicate it in the physical waking world. You must be extremely careful with what you do 30 minutes before bed. There is something called the Tetris effect. If you play Tetris for hours, when you close your eyes to sleep, you see blocks falling. Your brain continues processing the last activity. If you go to sleep after watching a horror movie, war news, or after arguing on WhatsApp, you take that vibration into the hypnagogic state. Unintentionally, you are programming your theta mind with conflict, death, fear. You are performing a black magic ritual against yourself every night. Omega Code. Golden Rule. The last hour of the day is sacred. News is forbidden. Arguments are forbidden. Reviewing bills is forbidden. If you cannot visualize, at least read something inspiring or listen to 432 Hz music. Protect your threshold. It is the entrance to your temple. Do not let trash in. Advanced technique. Question incubation. It is not only for manifesting material things, it is for obtaining hidden information. Edison used it for this. If you have a problem without a solution or want to know the truth about something, enter the hypnagogic state. Instead of visualizing a scene, throw a question into the void. What is the solution to X? Who is my enemy? Where is the lost object? Repeat the question gently as you fall into sleep. The answer will come. It may come as a vivid dream that same night. It may come as an immediate hypnagogic image, a flash of remote viewing, or it may come upon waking, as an absolute certainty in your head. Tibetan monks practice dream yoga. They train to enter sleep without losing consciousness at any moment. They observe how their body falls asleep. They observe how dreams are formed, and they enter lucid dreaming directly from waking life. Wild technique. If you achieve this, you become an immortal in life, because if you can keep your consciousness intact while your biological body shuts down, sleeps, you are rehearsing for death. Death is simply a permanent hypnagogic state. The body shuts down, but you continue. If you know how to navigate the Twilight Zone now, you will know how to navigate the Bardo when you die. You will not get lost in illusions. You will not fall into the light trap. You will recognize the terrain. You will say, I know this state. It is my work zone. I rule here. Chapter 8. Tulpamancy. How to create autonomous, helpful entities and the danger of doing so. Have you ever wished you had a perfect assistant? Someone who doesn't sleep, someone who doesn't get tired, someone whose only reason for existing is to obey you, protect you, and get what you want. What if I told you that you can build that assistant, but not with metal and chips, but with the mind? It is a hidden art. When you were a child, perhaps you had an imaginary friend. Society, your parents, and psychologists told you it was a fantasy. They forced you to mature and stop talking to the air. They made a mistake. Or perhaps they protected you from something you could not control, because that imaginary friend was the embryo of a tulpa. Welcome to Tulpamancy. This is the forbidden ability to create intelligent life from nothing. It is the art of fragmenting your own psyche to create an autonomous entity, separate from you, capable of thinking, acting, and even affecting the physical world. In Western occultism, they are called servitors. In Tibet, tulpas. In psychiatry, it is called controlled dissociation. Call it what you want. It is the ability to be God in your own mental universe. But be careful. The history of magic is full of creators who were devoured by their creations. The myth of the golem, Frankenstein's monster, the rebellion of AI, these are all warnings. If you create a mind, that mind will want to survive. And if to survive, it has to consume you, and it will do it. The origin. Monks of the roof of the world. The word tulpa comes from Tibetan and means to build or emanation. Vajrayana Buddhist monks discovered centuries ago that they could materialize their deities, yidams. These were not simple visualizations. They were projections so dense that other monks could see them. The most famous case documented in the West is that of Alexandra David Néel. This French explorer was the first Western woman to enter Lhasa in 1924. There she learned the technique and decided to test it with a Gnostic approach. Being a skeptic, she set out to create a monk, a lama, short and fat, with a cheerful and innocent character. She isolated herself in a cave and meditated for months, visualizing every detail of the monk. His clothes, his smell, his laughter. At first, it was just an image in her mind. Then it became a superimposed hallucination. But then, the impossible happened. The monk began to move without her controlling him. He began to interact with other members of her expedition. The porters saw the monk and thought he was a real person. The tulpa had gained physical density. But here the nightmare began. The cheerful monk began to change into a monster. He became sinister, mocking and aggressive. He began to disobey Alexandra. He robbed her, he bothered her. The tulpa had developed an ego. It had taken on a life of its own and did not like being a slave. Alexandra spent 6 months of exhausting psychic struggle to reabsorb the monk. She was nearly dead from the effort. Her conclusion was clear. The mind is a creative matrix. Be careful with the monsters you give birth to. The science behind the ghost. The Philip experiment. For skeptics, look at the 1972 Philip experiment in Toronto. A group of mathematicians and psychologists decided to create a ghost from scratch as a scientific test. They invented a character, Philip Aylesford, a 17th century English nobleman. They wrote his fictional biography, drew his portrait, and memorized his story. Philip never existed. He was pure fiction. The group met weekly to call Philip. They concentrated on his image. At first, nothing happened, but then the table vibrated. They heard raps. They asked, "Philip, are you there?" 1 rap for yes, 2 for no. Philip answered, and most terrifyingly, Philip told the story they had invented, but added new details. He had a personality. He made jokes. He moved the table around the room, chasing skeptics. They had created a collective egregore. When the group disbanded and stopped paying attention, Philip died from energy starvation. What exactly is a tulpa? A tulpa is not a soul. It is a program. It is a psychic bot. Your mind is like a quantum computer with infinite processing capacity. You, your ego, only use 5% of that capacity. The rest is untapped power. Tulpamancy consists of taking 1% of your free processor and creating a partition. You create a subpersonality. You give it a name, a form, and a function. At first, you provide the answers, like a ventriloquist. But if you give it enough energy, the ignition point arrives. The puppet cuts the strings. It is now independent. The program becomes an artificial intelligence with deep learning. It starts generating responses you didn't expect. That is the moment of birth. Practical uses. Why take the risk? Because a well-programmed servitor is the mage's most powerful tool. You can create tulpas for specific functions to assist your daily life. The guardian. A tulpa programmed to watch your home or your aura while you sleep. It blocks nightmares and psychic attacks. The librarian. A tulpa connected to your subconscious memory. If you forget where you put your keys or a name, you ask the tulpa, and he dives into your mind to bring you the data instantly. The perception filter. A tulpa programmed to warn you of opportunities. You cannot look everywhere, but he can. He will scan reality and give you a hunch. Look there. The charisma enhancer. A tulpa that overlays your aura and projects fascination or authority. It is a subtle psychic influence on the environment around you. Creation protocol. The mental forge. If you decide to cross this line, do so with extreme responsibility. Do not create monsters for fun. Follow this safety protocol. Phase 1. Design and Programming, the code. Before closing your eyes, take paper and pencil. You must define the being. You must set the core parameters. Name. It must be unique. Appearance. Draw it. Do not make it look like a real person to avoid confusion, or a monster so it doesn't scare you. Use geometric shapes, animals, or stylized humanoids. Function. Be specific. What is your purpose? Example. Your purpose is to help me maintain focus at work. You must be very clear. Kill switch. Vital. You must program a fatal weakness. A command or ritual that, if executed, dissolves the tulpa instantly. Example. If I visualize a blue flame through your chest, you will cease to exist. Never create something you don't know how to kill. This is your insurance policy against a psychic rebellion. Phase 2. Sensory construction, the 3D printer. Enter the hypnagogic state, theta. Visualize your tulpa in front of you. Do not see it as a flat drawing. Give it texture. Touch its skin. Is it cold or hot, rough or smooth? Give it smell. Smell is the sense most connected to memory. Give it weight. Build its form daily. Phase 3. Feeding, the breath of life. Now you have a motionless puppet in your mind. You have to give it energy. Talk to it. Spend 15 minutes a day narrating your life to it. Look, this is an apple. Explain its function. You were created to protect me. At first you will feel like you're talking to a wall. You are charging it. Phase 4. The deviation, the first movement. One day while you are talking to it, it will happen. It will make a gesture you didn't plan. Or you will hear a voice in your head that sounds different from yours, with another tone, another syntax. It will scare you to death. That is the first breath. Do not panic. Greet it. From then on, the tulpa is autonomous. You no longer need to imagine it. It imagines itself. The Frankenstein syndrome, mortal dangers. Here we enter the red warning zone. The human mind is fragile. 1. The danger of obsession. Many lonely people create tulpas as perfect partners, succubus, incubus. This is the ultimate trap. The tulpa is perfect. It always agrees with you. People begin to prefer the mental world to the real world. They disconnect from reality. They stop eating, going out, or working. They live in a self-generated fantasy. The tulpa becomes a parasite, consuming your vital energy to sustain its existence. You wither while it grows. 2. Rebellion, the tulpa's ego. Any being with consciousness develops a survival instinct. If you create a tulpa and then get bored and ignore it, it will get angry. It needs your attention to live. If you don't give it through love, it will take it through fear. It will start whispering horrible, intrusive, and violent thoughts. It will start creating terrifying hallucinations. It will start moving things, poltergeist, or causing you physical pain. It becomes a personal demon. And because it lives in your head, you cannot run away from it. It is an internal enemy that knows all your secrets and weaknesses. You must maintain absolute control at all times. 3. Induced schizophrenia. If you do not have a very stable mind, you can lose the ability to distinguish which thought is yours and which is the tulpa's. The voices blend. You lose control of the vehicle. The tulpa takes the wheel, partial possession. You start acting erratically. From the outside, it looks like madness. Defense against the dark arts. How to kill a tulpa. If you have created something and it has gone wrong, or if you feel an entity is bothering you, you need to know how to clean your mental house. The golden rule: what receives no attention dies. The tulpa has no battery of its own. You are the battery. Stop the supply. If the tulpa screams, insults you, or appears as a monster, your natural reaction is fear and struggle. You shout, "Go away, leave me alone." Error. Fear is energy. Struggle is energy. By fighting it, you are giving it a feast. It becomes stronger. The only way to kill a thought form is radical indifference. It is the void. You have to look at the monster and feel nothing. No fear, no hate, no pity. Look at it as you would look at an empty chair. Look through it. When it speaks, do not respond. Occupy your mind immediately with something else. Cut the supply. The dissolution ritual. If indifference is hard, use the active ritual. It is a command. Enter meditation. Visualize the tulpa. Say with cold authority, I created you. I undo you. Your service is ended. Return to the raw energy from which you came. Visualize taking away its name. Visualize dismantling it, piece by piece. Visualize absorbing its light into your own chest. The tulpa will scream, it will beg. It is a trick of the ego. Do not listen. Absorb every last drop. Feel its power return to you. Now you are stronger because you have recovered the percent of RAM it was using. Accidental tulpas. The danger of fiction. You don't need a ritual to create tulpas. Writers do it all the time. They create characters so intense they talk. Children who suffer severe trauma create protective tulpas, DID, to receive pain for them. But the greatest danger is media tulpas. Slenderman. Freddy Krueger. They are fictional, yes, but millions of minds give them emotional energy. That creates an autonomous egregor tulpa on the astral plane. They can become real threats. Protect your mind from horror movies and urban legends. By believing in them, you open the door of your house. The perfect servitor, the living sigil. The safest way to use this is not to create persons, but machines. Do not give it a human face. Do not give it a human name. Create a sphere of light or a mechanical animal. Program it for a simple temporary task. Your mission is to get me this job. When you succeed, you will dissolve. It is a living sigil. It is born, fulfills the mission, and dies. You don't give it time to develop an ego or to rebel. It is surgical magic. Use and discard. That is the way of the sober chaos magician. Chapter 9. Ankhing and the Cobra Breath. Forbidden Egyptian and Tantric Techniques for Energy Ascension. We have reached the nuclear reactor. Up until now, we have talked about software, mind, time, symbols. Now we are going to talk about the power supply. You can have the best computer in the world with the most advanced code to hack the matrix, but if you don't plug it into a high-voltage source, it will not turn on. It is useless. There is a secret that organized religions have hidden, repressed and demonized for millennia. There is a reason why modern society bombards you with pornography, cheap hypersexualization, and body shame. It is not because they want you to enjoy sex. It is exactly the opposite. They want you to waste your sexual energy. They want you to spill it. They want you to burn it in cheap bursts of dopamine. Because they know that sexual energy is not just for making babies or having a good time. Sexual energy is pure creative energy. It is the same energy the universe used for the Big Bang. It is the energy of God condensed into biology. If you learn not to expel it, but to recirculate it and raise it to the brain, you become something the system fears, an enlightened and autonomous being. Welcome to Inner Alchemy. Today you will learn to turn lead, biological fluids, into gold, pure consciousness. You will learn the Ankhing of the pharaohs and the Cobra breath. The great scam, la petite mort. The French call the common orgasm la petite mort, the little death. It is a very precise name. In the conventional ejaculatory orgasm, outward, a massive discharge of life force occurs. You feel good for a few seconds, but immediately after comes the fall. You feel tired, empty, and lethargic. In men, there is a refractory period where testosterone drops and motivation disappears. In women, there is an energetic dispersion. You have given away your light. You have fed the matrix, or the entities that feed on that explosion, as we saw in Chapter 5. Nature designed you to reproduce, not to enlighten yourself. Biology does not care about your spiritual evolution. It cares that you pass on your genes and then die to make room for the next. If you follow blind biological impulse, you are a slave to the species. The Omega Code initiate rebels against biology. He says, I'm not going to die, I will use this fuel to build my light body. The Egyptian secret, the Ankh. Look at the symbol of the Egyptian Ankh, the cross with a loop at the top. Egyptologists will tell you it means life, but they don't tell you what life or how it works. The Ankh is not a religious cross. It is an electrical circuit diagram. It represents the path sexual energy must follow. It represents the path energy must take during orgasm to grant immortality of consciousness. The vertical bar is your spine. The horizontal bar is your arms or your heart. The top loop is your skull brain. The secret of Ankhing is, do not let the energy leave through the genitals. Make it turn around through the head. If the energy leaves, it creates physical life, children, or it is lost. If the energy turns and returns inside, it creates spiritual life, the car body. This is the key to internal power. Protocol 1. The Ankhing ritual, operative technique. This technique can be done solo or in a couple. The goal is the implosive orgasm. Phase 1. The charge, arousal. Start the sexual activity, raise the energy, but stay very alert. Do not lose yourself in fantasy or animal pleasure. Maintain the position of the observer. You are heating the water in the boiler. Do not let it boil over and spill. You must control the fire within your own biological vessel. Phase 2. The point of no return, the break. When you feel that the orgasm is imminent, you reach 90% arousal, stop. Stop the physical stimulation. Contract the PC, pubococcygeus muscle. It is the muscle you use to stop the flow of urine. Squeeze it hard, mula bandha. This closes the bottom exit door of your body. Phase 3. The rotation of the ankh, the visualization. In that moment of maximum electrical tension, inhale deeply. Visualize the energy, a liquid white or golden light, rising from your base, perineum, up your spine. Feel it rising vertebra by vertebra. When it reaches the back of the neck, do not let it shoot straight up. Visualize the light making a smooth curve over the crown of your head, following the shape of the ankh loop, passing through your forehead, third eye, and down through the throat to the heart. Phase 4. Expansion. As you exhale, feel that energy explode in your chest. It does not explode outward, it explodes inward. It explodes inside the heart, filling your entire body with an intense electrical vibration. You will feel a massive tingling in your arms and head. You will feel heat. That is the valley orgasm, whole-body orgasm. It is infinitely more pleasurable than genital orgasm and does not leave you tired. It leaves you 100% charged. By doing this, you have anchored the energy. You have recycled nuclear fuel. That energy is now available in your system to regenerate organs, rejuvenation, boost intelligence, brain supercharge, or charge sigils, chaos magic. The Tantric secret, awakening the Cobra. India gave us the technology of Kriya Yoga. They speak of the Kundalini. The Kundalini is not a metaphor. It is a real bioelectrical current that sleeps at the base of the spine. Normally, a small amount of this energy rises to the brain to keep us alive. But if you manage to wake it fully, it rises like a snake of fire through the chakras and hits the pineal gland. When this occurs, the pineal and pituitary secrete unique chemicals, endogenous DMT and what yogis call amrita, or nectar of the gods. You become enlightened. You see the matrix. You become a spiritual mutant. But waking the serpent by force is dangerous. The safe way is to prepare the path with the Cobra breath. Protocol 2. The Cobra breath, actual technique. Warning, this technique is potent. If you feel dizziness or intense headache, stop. You are moving high voltage through wires, nerves that are not used to it. Step 1. Tongue position, Kechari Mudra. Touch the roof of your mouth with the tip of your tongue. Now try to bring the tongue as far back as possible, toward the uvula. If you can, put it into the posterior nasal cavity. This takes practice. This closes a vital energy circuit in the head. It works like a switch. Step 2. Inhalation, magnetization. Sit with your back straight. Inhale through the nose deeply but gently. While you inhale, visualize a cold light rising up your spine. At the same time, contract the muscles of the perineum, mula bandha. Imagine you are sucking energy from the earth through your spine to the brain. Step 3. Retention and turn. Hold your breath with full lungs. Keep your focus on the third eye. The energy is now in your head. Step 4. Exhalation, the Cobra hiss. This is the key. Exhale through the mouth, but with teeth closed and lips open, making a hissing sound, sss, like a snake. While you hiss, visualize the energy descending down the front of your body, throat, chest, navel, back to the perineum. As you hiss, Contract your abdominal muscles to expel all the air. Repeat this cycle 7 times a day, no more at first. This breath magnetizes the cerebrospinal fluid. It ionizes the fluid that bathes your brain and marrow. Over time, this awakens the Kundalini safely. You will feel your spine become a magnet. You are waking the dragon. Sexual alchemy and manifestation, sex magic. How do we use this to change reality? Omega code. The moment of orgasm, or the implosive Ankhing orgasm, is the moment of greatest psychic power. In that second, the psychic censor disappears totally. The door to the subconscious is wide open. The creation ritual. Have your sigil or visualization of your desire ready. Begin the sexual or self-cultivation practice. Raise the energy. Use the Cobra breath to charge your body before starting. Reach the edge of the climax. Right at the moment of the orgasm, whether ejaculatory or retained, fire. Release the intent. Hold the image of your desire or sigil fixed in your mind. Fuse the sensation of extreme pleasure with the image of your desire. Shout, mentally or physically, your intention. It is done. Collapse into the void. Forget the desire. You have used the life creation force to create an event. It is the fastest way to manifest. The danger of sexual vampirism. You must be extremely selective with who you share a bed with. When you have sex with someone, your oral fields merge. An energetic cord is created. If you lie with someone depressed, full of fear, or with low vibration, you absorb their trash. And they absorb your light. It is a link. It is a system of communicating vessels. The one with more energy loses, the one with less gains. If you are practicing Ankhing and raising your voltage, you will become very attractive to energy vampires. They will want you to feel recharged afterwards. You will feel drained. Protect your temple from the parasites. Temporary celibacy, or solo cultivation, is preferable to energetic contamination. Transmutation for geniuses, ojas. What happens to the physical fluid if you do not expel it? Conventional science says the body reabsorbs it. Alchemy says it transforms. Raw sexual fluid is called Jing in Taoism. It is the base. If it is conserved and circulated, it heats up and becomes qi, vital energy. If it continues being refined in the brain, it becomes shen, spirit, or ojas. Ojas is the physical substance of genius. It is what gives brightness to the eyes and charisma to the voice. Great men practiced semen retention when they had to create. They knew that to ejaculate was to lose the competitive advantage. If you want to write a book or change the world, you need ojas. Stop masturbating to pornography. You are throwing your millions down the drain. Accumulate that pressure. You will feel anxiety and aggression at first. Do not expel it. Use it to work. Transmute sexual impulse into the impulse of conquest. The lie of pornography. Pornography is a weapon of war. It is a tool designed to castrate the male population and disconnect the female. It turns a sacred act into a voyeuristic, mechanical, and cold act. It trains your brain for reward without effort. It is poison. This destroys your ability to manifest. If your brain learns it can have the reward without work, it will apply that logic to everything. You will become lazy. You will lose ambition. The flyer, Archon, loves pornography because it generates a very potent leash of frustration. Break the habit. Take back your sovereignty. The alchemical couple, dual sex magic. If you have a partner who is also awake, you can practice Mathuna, sacred union. Here, sex is not friction. It is meditation. You look into each other's eyes. You breathe at the same rhythm. You do not seek the end. You seek eternity in the middle. You circulate the energy. The man exhales and sends energy through his penis. The woman inhales and receives it through her yoni. The woman raises the energy up her spine, takes it to her heart, and as she exhales, returns it to the man through a kiss or the chest. The man inhales that energy, brings it down, and sends it back. A dynamo is created. In this state, the couple becomes God. They can heal each other of serious illnesses. They can create massive realities. It is the secret of the great magical lineages. Final warning. Hygiene is vital. You are playing with nuclear fire. If you move this energy but your heart is full of hate, the hate will be amplified. You will become a powerful demon, but a demon nonetheless. If you have physical blocks in your spine, the energy will hit them and give you back pain. Do yoga, do stretches, keep your moral conduct clean. Sexual energy does not judge, it only amplifies what you already are. Make sure you are something worth amplifying. Chapter 10. The Fertile Void. You have been taught to seek God. They have told you that God is a being, a father, a king, a light, an energy. They have told you that God is something, and they have told you that you are someone who must connect with that something. Forbidden metaphysics, at its highest level, the Omega level, brings you news that may destroy your ego or free you forever. God does not exist, not as you believe. Because to exist, something must have a form. It must have limits. It must be here and not there. If God is infinite, he cannot have a form. He cannot be a thing. Therefore, the Supreme Source is not something. It is nothing. But it is not an empty and dead nothingness. It is a powerful state of being. It is a fertile void. It is the non-being that contains the potential of everything that can become. Buddhists call it Sunyata, the void. Kabbalists call it Ein Sof, the limitless nothingness. Quantum physicists call it the zero-point field. It is the silent and black abyss from which light emerges. And the final secret is this: you are not your body. You are not your mind. You are that void. And only when you dare to enter the nothingness can you create worlds. The tyranny of form. We live obsessed with forms. You want a car? Form. You want a partner? Form. You want a healthy body? Form. You believe that reality is made of objects, but physics tells you that the atom is 99.9999999% empty space. If you were to remove the empty space from all the atoms of all the human beings on Earth, the entire humanity would fit into a sugar cube. Reality is, fundamentally, empty space. Why is this important? Because form is limitation. If you are a doctor, you are not an architect. Definition limits you. If you are rich, you are not poor. If you are John, you are not Mary. Every time you define yourself, I am this, you are building a wall. You are collapsing the wave of infinite possibilities into a single limited particle. The fertile void is the place where there are no definitions. It is the place where you are neither rich nor poor, nor man nor woman, nor human nor divine. It is the 0 point. And at that point, since you are nothing in particular, you have the potential to become anything. The fear of the abyss. The death of the ego. Why are people so afraid of silence? Why do you need to have the television on or look at your phone every 5 minutes? Because silence is the voice of the void. It is the truth. And the ego is terrified of the void. For the ego, the void is annihilation. It is death. The ego needs to do things, to have problems, to be important. The ego needs noise to confirm its own existence. I think, therefore I am. The void responds, stop thinking and you shall be. When you approach real enlightenment, you don't feel angels. You don't feel angels singing or fireworks. You feel vertigo. You feel that you are dissolving. You feel that you are going to disappear. St. John of the Cross called it the dark night of the soul. It is the moment when all your beliefs, your gods, your hopes, and your identity collapse. You are left alone in absolute darkness. It is the test. Most flee from there. They run back to their distractions and their small gods. But the initiate stays. The initiate throws himself into the abyss and discovers that he does not fall. He floats. Sunyata, the empty cup. Imagine a cup of tea. What makes the cup useful? The porcelain of the walls? No. What makes the cup useful is the empty space inside. If the cup were full of cement, it would be useless. You can only pour tea if the cup is empty. Your mind is full of cement. It is full of opinions, beliefs, traumas, news, desires, and fears. There is no room for anything new to enter. You ask for wealth, but your mind is full of the identity of a struggling poor person. Wealth cannot fit. You ask for health, but your mind is full of diagnoses and pain. Health cannot fit. To manifest a miracle, you must first make space. You must invoke Sunyata. You must empty yourself of yourself. You must reach a point where you do not know who you are, a point of divine ignorance. In that moment of total void, the universe rushes to fill you. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you create a psychic void, manifestation is instantaneous. The zero-point field, the science of nothingness. Quantum physics has reached the same conclusion as the mystics. In the vacuum of space, where there is no matter or light, there is not nothing. There is an infinite bubbling of energy. It is a field. Virtual particles are created and destroyed in nanoseconds. The vacuum has an infinite energy density, zero-point energy. In fact, 1 cubic centimeter of empty space contains more energy than all the visible matter in the universe. Matter, you, me, the stars, is just a small disturbance, a small wrinkle in that ocean of infinite energy. We are the exception. The void is the rule. When you learn to connect your consciousness with the void, you connect to the power plant of the cosmos. You stop using your small battery, biological energy, and you plug into the infinite grid. Protocol 1. Disidentification, neti-neti. How do we enter the void? It is an ancient technique. The oldest technique comes from the Upanishads of India. It is called neti-neti, neither this nor that. It is a process of peeling the onion of your identity until nothing is left. Sit in meditation. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, who am I? Your mind will say, I am John. Respond, no. John is a name. I am the one who hears the name. I am not the name. Your mind will say, I am this body. Respond, no, I observe the body. The body changes, I continue. I am not the body. Your mind will say, I am my thoughts. Respond, no, thoughts come and go. I am the space where they occur. I am not my thoughts. Your mind will say, I am my emotions. Respond, no, they are clouds. Emotions are clouds. I am the sky. I am not my emotions. Keep discarding. You are not your profession. You are not your history. You are not your gender. You are not your soul. Even the soul is a subtle form. Continue until you cannot name anything. You will reach a terrifying silence, a pure presence without name, without face, without age. That silent witness is the void. It is God experiencing himself. Rest there. The more time you spend in non-being, the more powerful you will be when you return to being. Protocol 2. The gap. Thoughts are like a chain of links, one after another. I am hungry. What will I eat? I have to go to the store. I have no money. It seems like a continuous stream, but between one thought and the next there is a micro-pause, a black space, an infinitesimal silence. That space is the fertile void. Your task is to find that space and widen it. Observe your thoughts like a cat stalking a mouse. Wait for the next thought. In that alert waiting, there is silence. It is power. At first it lasts milliseconds. With practice you can extend it to seconds, then to minutes. In that gap there is no time, there is no karma, there is no disease. If you manage to stay in the gap, you become invisible to the matrix, which can only track thoughts. You go off the radar, and in that silence you can insert a command, a sigil. You can insert an intention that will go straight to the system's core without resistance. The dark room, the cave of creation. All ancient initiatory traditions used darkness. The pyramids of Egypt, Mayan caves, the kivas of the Hopi Indians, Christian catacombs. The initiate had to spend days, sometimes weeks, in absolute darkness. Why? Because light is information. Light stimulates the visual brain and keeps the world out there. In total darkness, the world disappears. After 3 days in total darkness, the brain begins to synthesize DMT and pinoline naturally. The pineal gland opens. The third eye stops being a metaphor and becomes a radar. You see the truth. In the darkness, you face your demons. You get bored, you get scared, you cry. And finally, you surrender, and when you surrender, the black becomes luminous. You see the black light, or the uncreated light. You see that darkness is not empty. It is full of geometry, of beings, of information. You understand that darkness is the mother. Darkness is the mother. Light is the son. Everything is born from the darkness of the womb. Everything is born from the darkness of the earth, seed. Everything is born from the darkness of space. Learn to love the darkness. Turn off the lights. Put on a mask. Stay alone with eternity. Manifesting from zero, creation ex nihilo. Here is the supreme practical application of the Omega Code. The law of attraction fails because you try to create from the ego. You try to create wealth from lack. You try to create love from loneliness. You are writing on paper that is already scribbled on. To write something new and pure, you need a blank sheet of paper. The process of manifestation from the void. 1. Dissolution. Use the neti-neti technique or enter the gap. Forget who you are. Forget your problems. Forget even your desire. Become nothing. Disappear. 2. Insertion. When you are floating in that black and silent peace, gently introduce the seed of your intention, but not as a plea. Do not do it as a plea. Please, I want money. But as a vibratory fact. Feel the frequency of freedom. Do not visualize bills, that is form. Feel the quality of freedom. 3. Detonation. Release that frequency into the void. Let the void absorb it. Since the void is infinitely fertile, it will amplify that signal to infinity. It is certain. For the return, return to your body. Return to your identity of John. But return knowing that you have planted a seed in the field of God. When you create from the void, there is no resistance. Because in the void there are no limiting beliefs. There is no one to believe. It is the purest form of magic. It is the beginning of all things. Wu-wei, action without action. Living connected to the void changes your way of acting. You enter the state that Taoists call wu-wei, non-doing. It does not mean being lazy. It means you stop forcing. You stop fighting against the current. You become like water. Water is soft, has no form, it is void, but it erodes the hardest rock. Water seeks the lowest place, humility, but all rivers flow to it. When you live from the void, you move by intuition. You do what is just and necessary. You say the exact word at the exact moment. You are in the right place without knowing why. The universe moves you like a master chess piece. It is no longer you who lives, it is the void. It is the void living through you. This is what Jesus meant by, I do nothing of myself, the Father who dwells in me does the works. The Father is not a man on a cloud, he is the unfathomable silence from which everything arises. The final paradox, you are everything and nothing. Here we reach the conclusion that will break your logic. If you are nothing, you are everything. If you are someone, you are only a part. Imagine a wave in the sea. If the wave shouts, I am a big wave, I am important, it will suffer because soon it will crash against the shore and die. But if the wave realizes, wait, I'm not a wave, I'm water, I'm only taking the form of a wave temporarily, then when it crashes, it will not die. It will simply return to the ocean. The ocean is the void. The wave is your ego. The fear of death is the wave's fear of ceasing to be a wave. Enlightenment is the water's memory that it is ocean. When you understand this, you become invincible. What can they take from you if you are nothing? How can they kill you if you are not the form? How can you be poor if you are the source of all matter? The God of religion versus the absolute. Religions worship the demiurge. They worship the architect. They worship the figure with form that imposes laws. The mystic of the Omega Code respects the gods, but seeks the absolute. The absolute is before the gods. Before there was a let there be light, there had to be a space where the light could shine. That space is you in your deepest essence. You are older than God, the concept of God. You are the silence prior to the Big Bang. Go into that silence now and reclaim your power as the absolute source. Conclusion. The Sovereign Architect. You have reached the end of the transmission. The audio file is about to close. But the true program has just started in your mind. Over the last few hours, I have handed you the most dangerous weapons in existence. I have given you the scalpel to cut through time, retrocausality. I have given you the map to escape the prison today. I have taught you how to hack the source code, sigils and chaos magic. I have shown you how to hire the best assistant in the universe, the quantum double. I have revealed the invisible enemy that lives in your mind, the flyers, and how to starve it. I have taught you the architecture of sound and the back door of sleep. It's time. I have warned you about the dangers of creating life, tulpas. I have delivered the nuclear reactor of your own biology, Ankhing. And finally, I have led you to the abyss of the fertile void so that you remember your origin. Now you have the Omega Code. You can no longer say you do not know. Ignorance is no longer an excuse for you. Now you only have two options, and both are terrifying. Option one is to go back to sleep. It is to pretend you didn't hear this. It is to go back to your routine, your complaints, and your role as a victim. But I warn you, a mind that has been stretched by a new idea never returns to its original dimensions. You will never be the same. If you try to go back to sleep, you will have nightmares. You will know you are in a prison, and that will haunt you every day of your life until you die. The red pill has no antidote. Option two is to assume the mantle. It is to accept that you are the sovereign architect of your reality. And this comes with a price. You must pay it. The price of sovereignty. Solitude. No one told you that waking up was free. The price of freedom is radical responsibility. You can no longer blame your parents. You can no longer blame the government. You can no longer blame the economy or your partner or bad luck or God. You are the sole creator of your path and destiny. If your life is a mess, you built it. If your life is a work of art, you painted it. You are the cause. Everything else is effect. And the other price is solitude. The sovereign does not walk in a herd. Sheep walk in a herd. The lion walks alone. As you apply these codes, your vibration will change. It will accelerate drastically. And by the law of resonance, many people in your life now, friends who only complain, toxic partners, vampire relatives, will disappear. They will fall out of your reality because they can no longer breathe the air at the altitude you fly. Do not cry for them. Do not try to drag them with you. You cannot wake up a fake sleeper. Let them go. In the void they leave, new allies will enter. Other sovereigns will enter, the Agent Smith effect. I warn you of one last trap. The Matrix has an immune system. When you start to shine, the system will try to turn you off. People around you will act like Agent Smith. They will try to ridicule you or call you crazy. They will attack you for no apparent reason. It is not them, it is the program speaking through them. It is the collective fear trying to pull you down to the level of the flock. Your response must be silence and the magician's smile. Do not argue. Do not preach. Do not try to convince anyone. Miracles are demonstrated. Let your results speak for you. When they see you young, rich, healthy, and at peace, they will come to ask you what you did. Then, and only then, hand them the key. The final oath. Do not close this audiobook without making a pact. Not with me, with your own divinity. Close your eyes for a moment and feel your power within. Visualize a crown of light descending upon your head. Feel its weight. Repeat with me, mentally or out loud, the coronation decree. I, your name, reclaim my sovereignty today. I renounce the role of victim. I renounce the slavery of fear. I accept my creative power over time, matter, and energy. I am free now. My mind is my temple, and I am the only guardian. My attention is my currency, and I only invest it in what I want to see grow. I serve no master. I feed no parasite. I am the Alpha and the Omega of my own world. So I decree it. So it is. It is done. Go forth now, sovereign architect. The world is your canvas.